This is Trifon of Trifonic, and today I'm going to be talking about Reason's Malstrom synth and how to do some cool stuff with its modulation oscillator. So first let me play you what it sounds like. I'm running Reason 4 here, and Malstrom sort of caught my attention because it's an interesting type of synthesis. It's known as Graintable synthesis, which is sort of a combination of wavetable and granular synthesis. So, take a quick look at the signal flow here. We've got two oscillators. Those lead into, there's a wave shaper, and then there's two filters, filter A, filter B. And then we've got our modulation oscillators, modulation A, modulation B, which are more or less LFOs. So let's take a look at the oscillators first. What's interesting about these oscillators is there's a large selection of waveforms. These include the standard waveforms and then interesting ones like these VS waves. So I'm going to take a look at a square times 4, which I believe is 4 square waves, and you can get an idea of what these parameters do on this oscillator. So right off the bat we can hear that there's movement in here. So I've got two knobs here. There's motion and index. So first I'm going to turn the motion down to -64, which is going to stop the motion, but I'll get to that in a second. So the index has to do with our graintable, and the index is where I'm going to play, or where I'm going to start in that graintable, and motion has to do with how fast it's going to read through the graintable. So if I turn the motion down to -64, it's just going to be static wherever I have this index. So that's where it's going to play back. So basically, this sounds like there's 4 different square waveforms that are going in and out of phase depending where my index is. And if I want that to be automated, I can use this motion parameter. And you can hear it moving through the index of the graintable, and I can speed that up. I tend to like the slow motions. So that's one interesting waveform. I like some of the non-traditional ones. There's this VS waves, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to just go through its index and find the cool points in it. Here there's a lot of variety in this waveform, so I could add motion to it. We'll slowly move through the index, but I'm going to have it move really slow and just find the really cool spot. That's kind of nice because it gets some other little melodic harmonic elements in there. I'll have it slowly move through that index, and I'm going to enable oscillator B here. Pick the same waveform, this VS waves, and find a different area in it. I can turn off oscillator A if I just want to hear oscillator B. I like that portion there, and re-enable oscillator A. Maybe have them detune a little bit, so -9 cents plus. So that's nice. It's a sort of a thick sound, and I could add a little more motion on both of these, maybe. And if I wanted to make this more of a stabby chordal thing, what I'm going to do is offset the tuning on this oscillator B by 7 semitones, so that's a perfect fifth in terms of intervals. So it's kind of a stab at the moment, which is cool. So now what I'm going to do is continue with my routing here. I'm going to have oscillator B go into filter B. So that's what this button does here. And I can route oscillator A into the wave shaper. And then I have to enable wave shaper, enable filter B. And I'm going to have filter B go into the wave shaper. And then that's all going to go into filter A. So I'm going to enable all those things here. And then it's just a matter of getting the settings I want on here. So what's nice about this configuration is that the oscillator B is being filtered first, and then it's being overdriven in the saturator, and then it's being sent into the filter A module. So I can get some pretty gnarly stuff happening with that. I can set these both to bandpass filters. And then what we're going to do is take a look at this modulation oscillator B here. And I'm going to set a little bit of filter modulation. So here I have my destinations for this LFO. And I can sync to tempo here. So I'm going to have a little bit of filter modulation. Adjust the intensity here, and this is a bipolar control, so when I have it in the center it means that there's no modulation happening. I can turn it to the left or right for modulation. I have a keyboard track which the filter will offset depending on the note number I'm playing. And then where it gets interesting here is with these waveform choices. So I'm going to scroll through. Let's keep going through. And so we've got these unipolar square waveforms. That's interesting. Most LFOs don't have that. These sort of sample and hold ones here. And there's all kinds of interesting ones. My personal favorites are towards the end here. And my favorites at the very end here are these exponential ones and logarithmic ones. So I'm going to go to this one here. It sort of slows down. So, and I have the destination for this modulation oscillator on both filters A and B. So I'm going to tweak my filter frequency cutoff. And then if I want to play different notes on my keyboard but not re-trigger this LFO every single time, what I can do is set this to legato mode. That way I can play a sequence of notes and this the LFO can carry out its full cycle. And this is just filter cutoff, and you can do adjust the other destinations here. I could also have this just the volume. So it's a little bit more extreme because the volume is also being modulated by the same waveform. So really cool stuff you can do with Malstrom. Definitely worth checking out.